All right, so good evening, ladies. Thank you for taking time out of your night and joining us. This was actually originally my team call, and then Michelle asked me to join her on her call and speak tonight, but hers was at 9, and I said, hey, let's just combine our calls and do it together, and please don't make me start my call at 9 o'clock. So here we are, and hopefully her team will get the message and show up. So, here we are. Wow, the 5th day of January in 2016. I just have some great expectations for this call. I have some really great expectations for this year. I'm seeing so many of you who have kind of been, stagnant on the in the business for a little while for legitimate reasons. I'm not judging. But I'm just seeing such a fire happen this year, and I'm very excited about it. And I feel very confident that it's going to stick. This isn't just a beginning of the year, January thing. We're going to make this stick. This is a big year. Michelle, I mean, we've been talking about this. There is something in the air about this year that's going to be phenomenal.
Something.
So, you guys are the reason that we're here. You are the reason that we love doing what we do. We see so much value in where this team is going, and we're just seeing so much within ourselves as developing leaders and what we have to offer this team, and really what this team is offering to everyone as well. I think somebody just jumped on with. If you're jumping on now, make sure you mute your phone. As you can see, it's very distracting for me. I totally get thrown off by squirrels. All right, so you are absolutely the reason why we love what we do, why we're here. You had a choice to show up on this call. There are other team calls going on right now. I know Summer had a couple that were going. I know that you have calls to catch up on with the surge, and then our all team call that we had. I know that you have kids that are still awake running around, because I certainly do. Laundry to be done, kitchen to be cleaned. I'm pretty sure none of you mind setting that aside for now. But you're here, and with all that you have going on in your life, you decide to show up for this call at 8:30 at night. And I know that's not easy. I know you're tired and just have a lot on your plate. And so we're glad you're here. And I know that some of you thought about catching the recording, and but you're here. So, and I love anybody who's watching the recording. I appreciate you jumping on and catching the recording, because it's easy to just forget about that too. But you guys have a fresh fire in your belly. You're ready for 2016. It's a clean slate. You're tired of being mediocre. You are ready to set your goals and seriously make an impact on those around you. You're tired of slacking off with your business. You're tired of giving in to your excuses. And when it comes down to your workouts and how you eat, you're all ready to get back on track with that. And you're setting the example for your team, and you're setting the example for your customers. I know a lot of you are watching what other coaches around you are doing, and you're seeing them kind of push and grow, or it appears that they're doing so, and you want to know what you can do to make things better in your business. And I really applaud you for that. I think it's amazing. So Michelle, I wanted you to go ahead and jump in and share a little. Welcome everybody to the team. I know you have a lot there that are on with us.
Yeah, no, I want to just thank everyone for showing up tonight, especially to give a quick shout out to the Fearless Freedom peeps that I see on here. And Rebekah, I love your shirt.
I know, right?
Living fearlessly.
I had a different shirt on, but somebody puked on it, so.
So I was really excited about getting on the call tonight and talking about living intentionally. So when I asked Rebekah to come and speak on our call, and it just kind of worked out that our calls are about the same, we thought, why not do a joint one? But we really have been digging into goals. We've been talking about, looking at our past year and seeing what goals we set at the beginning of the year last year, and asking ourselves, okay, why did we reach these goals, or why didn't we reach these goals? And it's so important to look at the past in order to see the future. We have to learn from it. So that being said, and we're going to talk a little bit about goals in a minute, but in order to really make these things happen, we have to be intentional with our time. And I, of all people, have really struggled with that. It's been one of my biggest struggles in life, period. When someone would tell me that I needed to schedule things, I literally would freeze up and think, oh my gosh, I'm trapped. If you want me to schedule, I had a friend who asked me if I wanted to schedule to go to the winery in 3 weeks. And I remember just this huge feeling of being trapped, thinking, but what if something else comes up in 3 weeks? You know, that's where my mindset was. But through digging in with this John C. Maxwell calls and, you know, surrounding myself by leaders like Rebekah and Kelly and Amy and Jillian and the leaders on this team, you know, it's definitely helped. So that being said, I'm just excited to be able to team up with Rebekah here. So Rebekah.
Yep, you know, Michelle and I, we tend to get, especially Michelle, you know, we're very motivational, and you know, we want to motivate you and inspire you, but we want you to we don't want you to just walk away from this call with a good feeling, or any of our calls for that matter. We want you to have some tools to carry with you that you're ready to apply and take action on that motivation, that inspiration. So many of you know that last year, it was in March, I had the honor of going to a leadership training with John C. Maxwell. He opened up the year of leadership calls to our team, and many of you have been on those calls, and I know that it's been a life-changing experience for you. For those of you who have stuck with it consistently and have been applying it to your team. But it's exclusively for our team and those who are in the downline of founding coach Tracy Morrow. And, you know, it's a pretty big deal. John has taught his leadership lessons all over the world. I'm pretty sure he's hit every country to this point in some form or fashion. He's taught all over the world. So that's pretty impressive. There's world leaders who call on him. In fact, I think it was Paraguay, the leadership the leadership for next year, he's actually teaching the leaders of Paraguay. But yeah, he's still going to work with our team, which, you know, that's pretty huge. So it really is a big deal, and I encourage you to do what you can to make it to the table or the circle, or for sure the calls next year, because they will be opened up and offered again. If I had to guess, probably all of you have some goals down on paper right now. This is kind of a traditional thing that we do at the beginning of the year. We're ready to start fresh, but it's also very normal for many people to let those goals and dreams kind of fade away after a few weeks. You get comfortable with your daily routine, nothing really changes in your behaviors, and so that is really what Michelle and I are here to help you with tonight. And Michelle has been talking a lot with her team recently about how to set goals. I think you guys even had a team call where you sat down and talked about your goals, right?
Yeah, we talked about how to set goals, and then we talked about the ghost of 2015 past, and it's all about the goal setting.
Nice. So would you mind just running through a quick list? I know everybody really knows how to set, well, I wouldn't say everybody knows, but I know it's something we've been talking about a lot. But do you want to cover like a couple of the points you guys went over as far as setting goals?
First of all, if you've never used this book, Living Your Best Year Ever with Darren Hardy, I want to highly suggest it. If you struggle with setting goals, and if it's not one of your strengths, and that's one of my weaknesses, I'm not great with setting goals, and the opposite. And this year, Trent and I did this, and I'm very excited because he really walks you through reviewing your past year and moving forward, and why you want to have certain goals, and then helps you actually have to set certain dates to reach them. That being said, when we set goals, we needs to be in every area of life, because the only goal we have set is I want to be 5-star diamond, but we forget about the fact that we have children, 6 children in soccer and a million other things. Well, then something gets neglected, you know, in order to make something else happen, or maybe the goal's so big that it's almost unachievable without really breaking it down. So when we set goals, there's a few areas that we need to be looking at. Relationships and family. So your friends, your family, that needs to be important, and you have to have goals set in that area in order to remain balanced. Physical goals, we're beach body coaches, so that just comes into play with what we do. We have to work out, we have to eat right and take care of ourselves. Business goals, that would be whether you want to be diamond, emerald, 1-star diamond, 2-star diamond, 5-star diamond, whatever that goal is, to have a tangible business goal for you, and then break it down and find a way to reach that. Financial goals. I know Rebekah has a group that she has running for people who struggle with budgeting. She's really good at that. It's one of her strengths. And to have that goal of becoming, finances can be very stressful. So becoming debt free, or working on paying off a credit card, or saving up money for college or vacation, having a spiritual goal. So making sure that we take a little bit of time out of our day to meditate or pray, and because that's an important part of who we are for many of us. Mental goal, that's your personal development. Constantly learning and having the goal of what you will learn this year, and actually breaking it down to, I will read personal development for 30 minutes every single day. But setting that goal and then checking yourself weekly. Did I do this? And that's really what the BAT helps us with.
Right.
Yeah. And then finally, the last one to kind of look at is your lifestyle goals. So honestly, I set goals every time I walk into TJ Maxx. Oh, someday I'm gonna be able to afford that pair of boots, and someday I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But lifestyle is like your clothes or your vacations or your house. It's just what you do in life, and actually set some goals. So you know what? I'm running for Mrs. Virginia this year, and my kids have a bunch of hand-me-down clothes, and a lot of them have stains because I'm terrible with laundry. And so one of my goals this year is to get my kids some new clothes and have them be a little more, presentable in that regard. So that's one of my smaller lifestyle goals. But anyway, keeping your goals kind of rounded like that, will help you maintain balance, throughout the year.
Thank you.
So that's kind of what we're talking about.
Well, with that in mind, and hopefully, if you're on this call or you're listening to this recording and you do not have goals written down, that is an absolute must before the end of the weeks. I mean, you should do it tonight, honestly, because you have to have something in place. But we're just going to assume all of you have all of that written down. You know exactly what you want. And so Michelle and I are going to talk about a few things that we've learned just through running our business. And really, a lot of this most of it comes from John Maxwell and what we've been learning from him, and how to achieve those goals through being intentional, because that's where we're missing the mark. What does it mean to live intentionally, and why is it so important when it comes to reaching our goals? Well, most people accept their life and they aren't really leading their life. To be intentional means that we have to actually plan our day, plan our month, plan our week. I think John Maxwell actually plans like 3 months out in advance. I can't remember what he said, but it was something crazy. I'm like, I don't even know if I could do it that far in advance. I'm not really perfect at planning, but I've gotten so much better when it comes to laying out my day and my week, way better than I was a few years ago. And I accomplish so much more in a shorter period of time when I actually do that and make that my priority. So ideally, when we need to make it a habit to plan as far out as our month. And that can be pretty simple. It can be a basic outline, kind of like what we plan our budget. And hopefully you guys do that. But when I plan my budget before the month even gets here, so before January was January, in December I knew where I was going to put that money. I'm telling my money where I need it to go, and we need to plan out our month and tell our time where to go. So have an outline on your calendar. Go ahead and schedule in the doctor's appointments and the team calls and the workouts and the coffee dates, and then each Sunday night plan out your week. So some people actually like to do it on Friday afternoon. That way Sunday is literally totally off for you. You're not doing any work on Sunday, and I like that idea. But go ahead and plan your entire week. And then you can take 5 minutes at the end of the night just to kind of go over your next day and know exactly what you want to do as far as how much time you want to spend on invites. Look at your calendar to see what's on there and schedule in when you're going to do your invites, your workouts, reading, devotionals, basically your 3 vital behaviors, what you're doing on your BAT, your business activity tracker, and then the 4th vital behavior, which of course is not on the 3 vital behaviors list, but it's social media. So knowing the night before kind of how you want to work that in. And again, I know as moms, that is not always easy to say between this time and this time, I'm going to do this, but put it on there anyway. And if it gets screwed up, it gets screwed up. That's our life. But still, having some sort of intentionality behind it is what's really going to make the difference. Michelle, oh, you're muting. You're muted, Michelle.
Yeah, because my kids are so loud. Okay, so happens you have 6 kids. So, if you haven't yet, real quickly back on that, if you don't have a calendar yet, I would suggest a couple of things, either like the planner pad or the passion planner. We can talk about it more on the team pages. But this year, I personally decided to go completely digital, and I'm using my calendar on my Outlook, and I'm creating different calendars with different colors. But you have to find what works best for you, because that will help to be intentional, and that's something I had to learn myself. Before Augie was born, I was really great at planning my week out, trying to get better. Anyway, post Augie. So basically, second point of living intentionally, it just means we don't procrastinate. How many times do we put off something that absolutely needs to get done because we just don't feel like doing it? If you read, a lot of you probably read the book Eat That Frog. I know some people are probably really good about this, but Amy never procrastinates. Amy Hillaert, really? I didn't think you were a procrastinator. Just a tiny bit.
She's not. By the time I told her about the circle, she was already looking up flights. Like the 5 minutes after I told her about the John Maxwell circle, I'm like, what? She's a planner.
Exactly. So basically, a lot of us, though, struggle with that. And in order to be intentional, we need to set a goal. So we need to figure out, the steps that it's going to take to get to that goal, and then actually follow through. So like we just talked about goal setting. So if, for me, a good example that since I've just done this is one of my goals is to publish a book. And that goal is set for February 28th. How many days in February 28th? Pregnancy brain. Wow. This is recorded too. Okay, so by the end of February, beginning of March, my book has to be published, which means that if I have to stay up late at night, I'm going to stay up late at night. But I cannot tell you the piece that having a date and knowing that something had to be done by a certain date brought. So we have to set the goal, and then we need to figure out the steps that's going to take to get there. So I've already set up on my calendar that I'm meeting with Marina at least 3 times during the week for 2.5 hours. And then we're going to throw in an extra time as well. And as we get towards the end, we might even take a whole weekend where we just kind of disappear and do what we need to do. But we had to set those steps to know that we're going to actually do it. And now we just have to follow through. So when we do this, we are the first to make things happen. And John C. Maxwell talked about that. You ever notice that there are those people who seem to always be doing things first, and they're always the first one to the gun. I think the reason why a lot of us don't do that has to do with perfectionism. I know that's the case for me. I hate putting something out that's not professional and looks perfect. And it's a lesson that I've had to learn over time. But he says it's not about it being perfect. It's about actually making it happen and not procrastinating. So just getting it done. We're the builders. When we do that, we become the builders and we become the movers and the shakers. So, that's what a true leader is. And John talks about, taking action in his book on intentional living. So all of the things we catch ourselves saying, like we say, I should a lot. And he's like, no, we don't need to say I should. We need to do. And something I've been saying a lot lately is just do it. A lot of people ask me, I'm not the most organized person, but they ask me as a mom of 6, how I'm on the soccer board, running for Mrs. Virginia, on the DC Council, how I'm writing a book, how I'm running a Beachbody business from home, how I'm raising 6 kids, how I'm nursing my baby. They don't ask me that one. But they ask me, and honestly, my answer is I just do it. I don't think about it. I just do it. And, if I could apply that to things here, I think if we apply that and we quit thinking I need to do this or I should do this, and we just do it and we make it happen and we become intentional with the time that we're working, we'll actually get things done and we will be the movers and the shakers. So we just have to make time for it and make it happen. Many of us have this mindset of having to have everything planned out in order to start, and while we're taking this year to get things aligned, we need to remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. The doers are already out there doing. And so we have to decide, are we going to be the doer that's out there doing, or are we going to wait till we get it perfect and be following behind?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely not one of those get it perfect. And those people drive me crazy. I'm like, no, you got to go. Don't wait till you know everything about all the programs or know all the ingredients in Shakeology. So yes, to be intentional, you can't procrastinate. You have to start planning out your day. And you have to minimize distractions, those things that are throwing us off track and cause us to waste time and actually procrastinate. So in this business, that would be stuff like, our news feed on Facebook. I know some of you will hide your notifications in Google Chrome. What was that about? What do you do in Google Chrome to hide notifications?
They have a special plugin. So if you just search Google Chrome plugin to hide Facebook notifications, Google will pop it right up. But you can actually hide your notifications. And I've heard that from numerous leaders. I have a friend she runs a mom blog that does huge things, and she told me the same thing. She says, I just use Google Chrome. So it's one of my goals here is to switch to Google Chrome instead of Safari.
And I know that Amy actually doesn't even have the app on her phone. Therefore she has to actually go into Safari. Did you just say that, Amy? I heard somebody say Safari. But yeah, she actually just goes so it's an extra step you have to take, and you're not just seeing the notifications pop up. So yes, hiding notifications. Sometimes we just have to get out the duct tape and tie our kids up because they're distracting. I'm just kidding. But, you got to plan around that. You know that they're going to be there. Television. I gave up TV a long, long time ago. But some of you have your shows that you still love. And, if you want to build something amazing in this business, little things like that, you're going to have to get rid of. Music, I don't know, unless maybe you can concentrate better with the music on, which I do sometimes. Sometimes it's a complete distraction for me. It helps to have your list for the day or your bat in front of you. I use the app on my phone. I saw Jill do this, but it's the reminders app that comes on your iPhone. And so I just make a list for each day. I have a day, each day of the week, and then I can click on it. And so for Monday, I have everything that I want to accomplish, and I leave it right here on my desk. And if I, with my mom brain, totally forget what I'm doing because I see something pop up on Facebook, I can go right back to my list for Monday and see exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So I keep that open on my desk. Or keep your bat in front of you, your business activity tracker. Keep checking it. And then sometimes I'll even set a timer for a particular task, especially if I know I have several things that I want to fit into my day. I'll set the timer for 30 minutes and say, okay, I'm going to spend 30 minutes on personal development. I'm going to spend 15 minutes doing invites. And then you know that you're not going to be sitting there for an hour trying to figure out who you're going to invite. You know that it's almost like a race against the clock. And so when I know I'm racing against the clock, I'm way less likely to let things distract me. So minimizing the distractions.
Yeah, and a really good, awesome app that helps with that, and Kelly and I have been using it. It's called Todoist, and it allows you to kind of separate different categories. I mean, I'm not a list maker. I'm not an emerald by far, but this program has actually helped me out. So that's something to think about. But when we're living intentionally, we're building our mindset. So we're growing and we're learning through our personal development. And by doing so, we are learning to control our emotions. You know, when we, and I'm totally want to speak to this, and anyone in my family, I have 9 sisters, would probably say out of all 9 of my sisters, I was the most emotional one. And my emotions really literally drove me for years. Rebekah got to see some of that when I first joined with Beachbody. Thank God for personal development. But basically, when it just means when we open our business every day, you know, if we're in this is our dream, we want to make this happen, then, you know, we have to open our business every day. If we feel tired, we still need to open our business. If, you know, someone says something about us and we're so sad and upset, you know, we might be sad and upset, but we still need to open our business. We can't let our emotions control what we do. We need to be in control. It's like kind of like if I don't know if you've ever ridden a horse and your emotions are a horse. You know, we need to be able to have those reins on the horse, you know, and the saddle, and be able to, you know, pull the reins in and say, hey, you are not running wild today. I'm in control of you. You might want to run. I'll let you go a little fast, but we are not running wild. So that's really what it is with the with our emotion, is that we just have to take control of them. We have to show up. We have to open for business. And when we're living intentionally, then we can be intentional about that, about not allowing them to take over, not allowing them to run the show.
Yes, thank you. And I can't remember if it was something I heard John Maxwell say on his calls or if it was one of the books he read, but you know, one of the things that is going to help you be more intentional is when you're looking at the bigger picture. And he shared a story of, you know, 2 guys working on building this thing. And he asked one guy, you know, what are you doing? He says, I'm laying bricks. And, you know, he asked another guy who's working on the same exact project, doing the same exact thing, laying bricks, what he's doing. And well, he's building, you know, the Sistine Chapel, you know. So it's a totally different perspective when you go into something and I'm just laying bricks, compared to like, I'm involved in something that is so huge and is going to impact the world for generations to come. I mean, that's looking at the big picture. You know, think of it as working with a puzzle. You know, we have a bunch of pieces laid out, and if we don't have the big picture, if we don't have the picture to guide us, we can't really see where we're going. It's so important to have a vision of where we want to end up, so we can map out how we want to get there and truly start to follow our dreams. It's one thing to dream, and it's a totally different thing to have a vision and have a set path on how you're going to get there. So you can't let small thinking stand in the way of what you're going to do, as far as just truly having a plan, knowing, you know, it just comes back to your why. If you don't have something tied to this business that is so strong and powerful, it's gonna be a struggle for you.
Yeah, you know, and when living intentionally, we know that by doing the things we have to do to pursue our dreams, that we're going to need to be in it for the long haul. You know, when you think about a person who's trying to lose weight and they have 100 pounds to lose, I think pretty much everyone knows that you can't just go exercise and go on a diet and watch what you're eating and lose 100 pounds in a week. It's going to take time, and it's going to take consistency. And the same can be said for relationships. You know, if you ever joined a new school or a new church or started a new group, I know there are plenty of times that I have started fresh. We've moved a few times and or joined a new group, and it's like, even with the DC Market Council, when I first joined, you know, it's like I kind of had to get to know people there. I had to show them what I could do before I could show up and really be able to contribute. You know, I had to pay my dues in order to get to that point. And with our business, that's what we have to do. You know, we have to look at our business and say, you know, am I going to show up every day? Am I in this for, what do I really want out of it? Because if what you're looking for is financial freedom, and you give yourself 5 years, you know, and you follow the steps to get there, then you're going to be, if you're not there in 5 years, you should be pretty darn close. Some people will get there in 1 or 2 years, and that can be kind of hard to watch them get there. And you're like, why am I not there? I must be doing something wrong and just want to quit. But you really got to know that when we're living an intentional life, we have our goal set, we know where we're going, and we just need to get to the finish line.
Absolutely. I think one of the hardest things that we do, and maybe it's because we care so much, or maybe it's just the whole distraction thing, or maybe it's the fact that we don't know how to say no. But as leaders, and everyone on this call to some extent is a leader in their business, but as leaders, we have to set boundaries. And when we're living in such a way, uh, you know, that we truly are seeking out being intentional, we have to have a plan and a place, and we need to follow it. There are people in our lives who will come to us wanting us to do things, to go places, to pick up their kids, to whatever it may be, and or get on a phone call, lead a team call. You have to know that if you don't plan your day, someone else is going to fill those hours for you. So there are people in our lives that expect us to be present in situations, and they may not be part of our plan. They're going to want us to participate in things that don't necessarily help us to grow or help us move forward in our business. We have to remember that if we want to be intentional about following our dreams and being successful, we have to prioritize, and we don't want to ever feel that we need to be a slave to someone else's agenda. I think this is a big thing that I've had to learn in my own business. And if I'm not sitting down and planning out my week, that this is when I'm going to do calls. That was a big thing that I think helped me in my business a lot, is setting aside, I think I have like 4 hours a week where it is for my coaches. Any of my coaches who ever, or anybody, any of you, it's not even my personally sponsored coaches, but those are times during my week that I have set specifically aside for my team. So that way, I don't feel bad if I can't get to somebody when they need me at 9 o'clock at night. So plan your day, know what you want to do with it, and don't let other people steal your time from you. As coaches, one of our biggest jobs in this business is to build belief. And if we want to grow, then we need to help empower those around us, especially our coaches and our challengers. We need to be intentional with this. Every day we need to add value to people, and we need to add value to our team. So this has to be our focus. It has to be our, what we put our hearts into with everything we do in our work, and just really taking action.
Yeah,
7
we have
points.
to be the example. I'm sorry?
I was just going to go say the 7 points real quick, but go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have to be the example. I say this all the time when I talk to people about their children and what do you want your children to be like when you grow up? If you don't want them to be like what you are right now, then you need to change. And the same thing is with coaching in our team. People will, it's monkey see, monkey do in that sense. And they're going to, the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. So we have to remember that, building belief and being intentional, it's all part of the process of becoming a leader and becoming successful, and doing it in such a way that you really are a strong leader and a great example to those around you.
Absolutely. So real quick, if you didn't get them, number 1, we're going to plan. Number 2, we are not going to procrastinate. Number 3, we are going to minimize distraction. Number 4, we are controlling. We're not going by our emotions. We're not letting our emotions run our business, or anything. You should never let anything be controlled by your emotions. Number 5, being able to see the bigger picture. Don't be small-minded. Don't get stuck in the I'm totally at a loss for words for what I'm trying to say here, but yeah, always look for the big picture. Don't look to live small. Number 6.
All these cheap flights are out of Pittsburgh.
Out of Pittsburgh, huh?
Oops, sorry.
Number 6. What is it, Michelle? I'm looking at it.
Oh, it's
Help me! I'm looking right at it, but is it?
We need to be in it for the long haul.
Okay.
That's
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And then number
instant
7.
gratification, not try to get instant gratification.
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then number 7, not being a slave to other people's agendas. We have to set boundaries in our business. Does anybody have any questions or want to share anything? Michelle, you want to close us out with anything?
Yes, I do. First of all, I one of the people that I found has been most intentional and seen such a big improvement in her own leadership skills, and just a shout out to Kelly Brown, because I've myself learned about being intentional through her. Over Christmas, you talk about not closing your business. Over Christmas, she showed up every single day for her team. She messages her team. She checks in on them. She is constantly lifting them up and, showing up to her business, doing what it takes, doing her bat. And I see it as a leader. I see what she's doing. And I know that a lot of us do that as well, but I wanted to say that because what I'm noticing is that she is continually and constantly building her tribe and building momentum. And that's exactly, what we want. And in the picture, it's bigger than, the words that keep coming to me. And Rebekah said, like, we all feel like there's something big that's going to happen this year. The words that just keep going through and hitting me over and over are, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. What we're doing here. Yes, we want to make an income. I want to bring my husband home. I want to do it. But it is bigger than just bringing my husband home. I mean, look at all the lives on this call, the people that are here, which is just a percentage with all the leaders, and that's because Rebekah said yes. Team Fearless is because I said yes. But it's because, why are we here? Because our lives have changed. I'm a better person. My whole life has changed. I'm writing a book about it. But by living intentionally, by reading our personal development, doing these things on a regular basis, we really are affecting lives, and we are affecting change in others. And when we become that example and we live intentionally, it just gives us more power to be able to do that, to be able to, spread the message and be that light in other people's lives. So getting a little pearl on you there.
That's all right. I like that. I'm excited about this year. I appreciate everyone showing up on the call. Michelle, you do your calls every week?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not that good. I do 2 times a month. But you guys keep plugging in. I know it feels slow, and you're going to have days that, you just feel like you've hit a wall and you're not going anywhere with your business, and you will snap out of it. I promise you. To this day, I have moments like that where I'm not so sure. I never know I have no clue where all of my Success Club points are going to come from. I won't say don't have a clue, but I mean, every month we all start at 0, just like anybody else. January 1st, the Beachbody slate is completely clean, and you have just as good a chance to be number 1 coach, if you want to be number 1 coach, as anybody else. We're all starting at 0. And so, you just gotta roll with it when it's not good, and celebrate when it's great, and just be here in a year. Keep pushing, doing the daily things. All right, guys.
You need that extra inspiration.
Do what now?
You need that extra inspiration. Just go to YouTube and look up Rocky. Watch some of the Rocky clips.
Yeah.
Man, he's my hero. I just watched those movies the first time, man.
I'm totally on Les Brown right now, too. Les Brown does it for me. All right, guys, have a great night, and we will catch you on the next call. Talk to you soon.